In previous video, we have seen chapter number 9, explanation part. Now in this video, we will see the solution part. Chapter number 9, force and laws of motion. First of all, we see the in-text question. So let's start with page number 118. The first question, which of the following has more inertia? The three option is given. A rubber ball and a stone of the same size. B, a bicycle and train. C, a 5 rupees coin and a 1 rupees coin. As we know that the inertia which is depend on the mass of the body. If the mass is more, then the inertia of object is also more. So the inertia is the measure of mass of the body. So we can say that the greater mass, that means the greater inertia, and the vice versa, means the if the less mass, then the inertia is also less. So the inertia is measure of the mass of the body. The greater is the mass of the body, the greater is its inertia, and vice versa. Here the A option, that mass of a stone is more than the mass of a rubber ball for the same size. Hence the inertia of the stone is greater than the rubber ball. Same like for the B option, mass of a train and the bicycle, from which we can compare that the train has more mass. That means the train possesses the more inertia. The mass of a train is more than the mass of bicycle. Hence, the inertia of a train is greater than that the bicycle. See that mass of a 5 rupees coin, it's more than the 1 rupees coin. So we can say that the 5 rupees coin is greater than the 1 rupees coin. Let's see one more time. The question is, which of the following has more inertia? A rubber ball and the stone of the same size. B, a bicycle and a train. And C, a 5 rupees coin and the 1 rupees coin. So we have to compare each of the things. So as we know that the inertia is measure of the mass of the body. If the greater is mass of the body, that means the greater inertia, and the vice versa. So for the A option, the mass of stone is more than the mass of the rubber ball for the same size. Hence, inertia of stone is greater than the rubber ball. For B option, here the example is about the train and the bicycle. As we know that train has a more mass as compared to the bicycle. So we can say that the mass of a train is more than the mass of a bicycle. Hence, the inertia of a train is greater than the bicycle. The C, that is mass of a 5 rupees coin, is more than that of a 1 rupee coin. Hence, we can say that the inertia of a 5 rupees coin is greater than that the 1 rupees coin. Let's see the question number 2. In the following example, try to identify the number of times the velocity of the ball changed. Here the example is given. In that a football player kicks a football to the another player of his team who kicks the football towards the goal. The goalkeeper of the opposite team collects the football and kicks it towards a player of his own team. And also identify the agent supplying the force in case. Here you can see the 4 times the football change its velocity. The first time when the football player kicks the another player. The second time when the player kicks the football towards the goalkeeper. And the third one, that is the goalkeeper is trying to stop the football. And the fourth time it's happened when the goalkeeper of the opposite team collect the football. So we can say that total 4 times the velocity is changed. So the velocity of the football changed 4 times. The first, when the football player kicks to another player. The second time it's happened when that player kicks the football to the goalkeeper. And third, when the goalkeeper stops the football. The fourth, when the goalkeeper kicks the football towards a player of his team. Now here also we have to write down the agent which is supplying the force. So in the first case, the first player who applied the force on the football. Whereas in second case, the second player is becoming a agent for the supplying of force, and in third case the goalkeeper who trying to stop the football. So in third case the goalkeeper is becoming a supplying force agent, and in the fourth case also the goalkeeper become an agent to supply of the force. Now let's see the third number question. Explain why some of the leaves may get detached from a tree if we continuously vigorously, or you can say the shake its branch. Here we can say that due to the inertia, all the leaves have a tendency to remain at the rest condition. Due to that, we can say that the leaves may get detached from a tree if we are doing a continuously shake of its branch. So the answer we can write down that some of the leaf of a tree get detached when we shake its branches vigorously, because the branches come in the motion while the leaves have a tendency to remain at rest. Due to the inertia of the rest, this thing is happening. Let's see the fourth number question. Why do you fall in the forward direction when a moving bus brake to a stop and fall backward when it accelerates from the rest? So in a moving bus, a passenger moves with the bus due to the inertia of motion as the driver applies the brake. The bus comes in the rest, but the passenger who is sitting in it, it's try to maintain their inertia, or you can say try to maintain inertia of motion. So as a result, a forward force is exerted on him. Similarly, when the passenger tends to fall back when the bus is accelerated from the rest, because when the bus is accelerated, the inertia of the rest of the passenger tends to oppose the forward motion of the bus, and hence the passenger tends to fall backwards when the bus is accelerated forward. So in this question we have to basically write down the topic of inertia, and in inertia topic as well I explain this example only, so you can easily write down. Now let's move further, the page number 126, the first question. If action is always equal to the reaction, explain how a horse can pull a cart. A horse is pushes the ground in a backward direction, and according to, as we study the Newton's third law of motion, a reaction force is exerted by the earth on the horse in the forward direction. As a result, the cart moves forward. Let's see one more time. Here the question is, if the action is always equal to the reaction, then they explain how a horse can pull a cart. So a horse pushes the ground in the backward direction according to the Newton's third law of motion, and the reaction force is exerted by the earth on the horse in the forward direction. So that result, the cart moves forward. Let's see the next question. Explain why is it difficult for a fireman to hold a hose which ejects large amount of water at a high velocity? Let's see the answer. When a fireman holds a hose which is ejecting a large amount of water at a high velocity, then a reaction force is exerted on him by the ejecting water in the backward direction. This is because of Newton's third law of motion. As the result of backward force, the stability of the fireman is occur. So decreasing, hence it is difficult for him to remain the stable while holding the hose. Here the question is that explain why the difficult for a fireman to hold a hose which is ejected large amount of water at a high velocity. So when a fireman holds a hose which is ejecting a large amount of water at a high velocity, then the reaction of force which is exerted by the ejecting of water, that create the force and which is occur in a backward direction. Why this is happened? This is happened due to the Newton's third law of motion. So as a result of the backward force, the stability of the fireman will not occur, means it will decrease. Hence, it is difficulty for him to remain the stable while holding a hose. Let's see the next question, third number question. From a rifle of mass 4 kg, a bullet of mass 50 gram is fired with an initial velocity 35 meter per second. Then calculate the initial recoil velocity of rifle. Let's mention whatever the thing is given in the question. Mass of a rifle, that is we denoted as M1. It is given a 4 kilogram, and mass of the bullet, that is M2, which is given a 50 gram. So first of all we have to convert this 50 gram into the 50 kilogram. So it becomes a 0.05 kg. Now the velocity, initial velocity filled with the initial velocity of 35 meter per second. Here the bullet velocity is given, it is a 35 meter per second, but the recoil velocity is not given, that we have to calculate. So we can consider it as a V1, recoil velocity of the rifle is a V1, and the bullet is fired with the initial velocity, it is become a V2, and that already given in the question, it's a 35 meter per second. So initially the rifle is at the rest condition. So in initial velocity we can consider a 0. So the total initial momentum of the rifle and the bullet system is equal to M1 plus M2 into V is equal to 0. And for the total momentum of the rifle and the bullet system after the firing, then it is become a M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is equal to 0.05 into 35 is equal to 4 V1 plus 1.75. Here we have to find out the V1. According to the law of conservation of movement, we can compare this both the thing. The total momentum after the firing is equal to a total momentum before the firing. So we can write down that the 4V1 plus 1.75 is equal to 0. It is for a initial, and for V1 is equal to, from this equation we can write down that the V1 is equal to minus 1.75 divided by 4. So it become a minus 0.4375 meter per second. Here this negative sign, that is indicate that the rifle recoil backward direction with the velocity of 0.4375 meter per second. So this is the answer of the question. Let's see one more time. From the rifle of mass 4 kg, a bullet of mass is 50 gram is fired with an initial velocity of 35 meter per second. Calculate the initial recoil velocity of rifle. The mass of rifle is M1 is equal to 4 kg. Mass of the bullet M2 is a 50 gram, or you can consider is a 0.05 kg. The recoil velocity of the rifle is V1. The bullet is fired with an initial velocity V2 is equal to 35 meter per second. Now initially the rifle is at the rest condition, thus the initial velocity is become a 0. So the total initial momentum of rifle and bullet system is equal to M1 plus M2 bracket into V is equal to 0. And total momentum of rifle and bullet system after the firing, then it is become a M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is equal to a 0.05 into 35. How this 0.0? This is a mass of the M1, means here we converted it into gram to kg. So it's become a 0.05 kg into 35. 35, that means it is a velocity of the bullet, initial velocity of bullet is equal to M2. M2 means that is the mass of the rifle. So it become a 4 kg plus the V2 V1 that we have to find out plus 1.75. Now according to the law of conservation of momentum, the total momentum after the firing, the total momentum before the firing. So we can write down that the 4V1 plus 1.75 is equal to 0. So from this equation we get the value of V1. So the V1 is equal to minus 1.75 divided by 4 is equal to minus 0.4375 meter per second. Here you can see the minus sign is there. This minus sign is indicate that the rifle recoils backward with the velocity of 0.4375 meter. Means after the firing, this rifle is becoming a backward direction due to the recoils. So the negative sign that indicates that the rifle recoils backward with a velocity of 0.4375 meter per second. In next video, we will see the more question answer and we will start from the page number 127. Thank you.